Murray and Ulis for Kentucky today?
They were incredible. I thought Ulis really controlled the entire first half, offensively and defensively. He didn't allow our guards even to get into ball screens. Defensively, I thought he put on a clinic. Some of those things that won't show up in the box score. Offensively, he runs the show. He makes you defend on the ball, off the ball. They do a good job of setting screens for him. But Jamal Murray stole the show overall with his ability to make shots. I think he's still open right now. I've never been a part of anything like that. I'm very, very discouraged. It's like we didn't know that he was a good shooter. Not a very good effort. I wish we would have given Jamal a better effort. He was unbelievable. He can really, really shoot it, and they do a good job of getting him open.
Mike, what was the plan with Murray in terms of defending him?
No separation. I'm sure any coach in the league would tell you that. With all of the screens being set for him off the ball, you have to take care of that first before you even think about defending him with the ball in his hands, or coming off a ball screen, or driving it, or what have you. But all the screens being set for him, if you get out of a stance and he's got separation in the paint before he even comes off a screen, you're already beat. And just did a good job of creating that separation. He did. And then we overhelped on some penetration by Ulis. And Ulis always knows where he is, of course, and just lost our mind a few times. I believe his first one was a wide open one in transition. We had three guys stop the basketball. Something that every college team in the country works on every day. We did a ton of transition defense. It was arguably our biggest key to the game. And when you have three guys stop the basketball, somebody's open. And unfortunately for us, Jamal Murray was open. And it's not a good way to start off the game defensively with him.
Reminder, if you got questions to ask your microphone.
Kentucky obviously has some warts that it has shown this season and some issues in the post, but with guard play like that, when you look down the road to postseason play, how can guard play like that, what they're getting from those guys, maybe carry them when it gets into tournament time?
I think guard play is extremely important. I think it masks other issues. I think they have a really good front court, personally, but I think they have an even better backcourt. And if those guys play like this every day, they'll have a chance every night or every day. They were fantastic today, those two guys. You know, and Briscoe's a really, really solid piece too. He plays with a ton of effort and intensity defensively. You can hear him chirping out there a bunch, big, strong, tough. He's a problem on the offensive glass at times, and he's got a great ability to get in the paint and play make as well.
Like, obviously, you know, Murray's shooting played a role early, but what were some of the other things you saw in falling behind 24-5 and getting off to that kind of a start?
Boy, Kevin, I've lost my mind in about 8 timeouts since then. So it's hard for me to remember the first 5 minutes of the game. Transition D killed us, missed blockouts. We had, I know we had a live ball turnover early that resulted in a layup or dunk. I think I turned away and looked for a substitution at the time. Looking back, I mean, I just remember it was a lot of Jamal Murray. You know, the second half is a little bit more clear in my mind, but he did whatever he wanted to do anytime he wanted to do it. Again, Tyler Ulis was equally as effective defensively as he was offensively in the first half.
Mike, Kentucky lost their last two. I'm wondering if it looked like a different team to you than maybe you saw in recent tapes.
It's tough. I mean, they were so good against Tennessee early, and it seems like we just saw that for 40 minutes. But again, I think we had something to do with that. You know, not to take anything away. Obviously, they were really, really good, but they're really capable. And when you let a guy like Jamal Murray really get going early, and he's got his mojo going, and Ulis is playing as well as he did today, they're capable of beating anyone in college basketball.
Mike, talk about Kentucky since that physicality today. Some
Yeah.
perhaps had shown a whole lot in the past, and how they handle Bulu.
Yeah, to be honest, I was a little bit surprised. I hadn't seen these guys in person, and there was more girth than I thought, and they were really physical. They're really physical, and I thought that we might have at least certain plays. We might have some success throwing it inside, or some success on the offensive glass, or even driving it in there at times at least. Not that they were weak on the interior, but I was surprised with how strong they were. You know, even Scally, I guess he's so long, and I'd never seen him in person. And he's such a good athlete that you just on TV, to me, looked a little bit thinner than that. You know, and then I thought Humphreys did a good job too in the game, just throwing his body around. And those guys on the interior were very good.
Couple more? This is 2 games in a row where you've given up 80 plus. Do you have to kind of get back to maybe a wake-up call to your guys as far as defensive principles and defensive effort and doing some things on the defensive end?
Yeah, definitely. We didn't. We're not that we would have won the game by any stretch, but it's just discouraging that we weren't even competitive because we've at times this year, you know, really until about the last week, our defensive numbers were really good. I mean, I want to say a week ago, maybe 10 days ago, we were like 6th in the country in defensive efficiency, and that's not the team that was out there today. It's not who we were, and we talked about the identity that we play to all year, and if we're thinking about how many threes we're going to hit at Kentucky, and I wonder how many I can score at Rupp Arena. I wonder when I'll be open, and whether or not coach is going to play me in the first. Whatever we're thinking about, if we're not thinking about doing our job defensively at a really high level on a consistent basis, we're thinking about the wrong things, because that's got to be our identity. We're not good enough offensively. We're not good enough in several areas to not be great defensively.
Wrap up here.
Mike, kind of flipping that, what did you think of the Kentucky defense today? Because that's an area John Calipari felt like they were struggling in.
I thought they were locked in. I thought it started again with Ulis. I mean, there were 3 or 4 plays that we called, whether they were quick hitting or with some movement in the first half, that Tyler just blew up with the pressure on the basketball. I thought there were, again, 6 or 8 ball screens that we set for our point guard in the first half that Tyler didn't even allow us to get to the screen, didn't even allow us to get that rub, which would lead to the next action. And when he's picking you up at half court and using that, you know, sitting in a stance and using that quickness and speed that he's got, you know, he's got an ability to do that. So I thought it started with him, and then again on the interior, he took a big charge early. I remember guards flying in there a couple times in the first half with, and they showed their length and their bounce. It just seemed like that lane was clogged up. There wasn't a lot of places for us to go when we put our head down and drove it. And then I thought they did a really good job as well of stunning and recovering to guys on the perimeter when we did get by a guy. They knew where our shooters were. I thought they did a really good job on Kayvon Allen, and but especially on our quick guys, our speed guys, Chris and Casey. It wasn't their best day, and Kentucky's defense had a ton to do with that.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, guys.